Hey Jay, how you doing? Okay, in the last video, we worked a little bit with a slightly tweaked version of this data set with these four pieces of data to find out that in this case, because this number is so very much different from the other values in the data set, that this is a high outlier, and so this is a right skewed data set. Now, with any data set, we can always do the same calculations. And so the three calculations we've learned so far are the range, the mean, and the median. And so I'm trying to figure out how to get this without the reflection here. I think you can see this. Okay. So let's do that now. What we have is the range is the easiest thing to calculate. Remember, what was the range? Let me see if you can remember what the range was. To find the range, we take the highest value, which is 990, and we simply subtract out the lowest value, and that's 20. That's pretty easy to do. 990 minus 920 is 970. And if you think about it, the range of values, this is the highest value, the lowest value, and all the other values fall within this range of 970 values. Okay, so that's the difference there. The mean, how do we work on the mean? We find the mean by adding 20 plus 27 plus 83 plus 990, adding the four values of the data set and dividing by that number 4. Okay, so I will do this right here. 990 plus 83 plus 27 plus 20. Okay, can you see that? Yeah, I think that's kind of visible, hopefully legible. We have a 0 with a carry of 1, that's 10, 20, and an extra 2, so that's 22 with a carry of 2, 1120. So that's the total here, and we want to take that value of 1120 and divide it by 4. So I'll just do that little calculation right over here. We have 4 into 1120. By the way, if you have a calculator and you're allowed to use your calculator, that's always easier. Math teachers aren't supposed to say that, but in the real world, everybody uses a calculator all the time, especially math people. So, but 4 into 11, what does that go? 2 times 8, subtract 3, bring down the 2. 4 goes into 32. 8 times, that's a 0. 280. And so 280 becomes our mean. And if you step back from this, what does that say? Well, that says that if we took all of this money and took it and put it in one pile and then redistributed it into equal amounts to all four people, you would get, each person would get $280. And that $280 times the four people, would bring us back to our total value, which was 1120 or 1120. Okay? So I'm going to erase all this other stuff here, and I'm just going to put down our finding, which was, what did we say? 280, correct? 280. Okay, 80. So 280 was our mean. Okay. And now, what is the median? Median's easier to calculate than mean, especially when you have a bunch of numbers. Notice what happened is, even though we made this a really large number, this value didn't change. And if you recall, the number we found last time was what? Do you remember what it was? It was 55. So 55. Okay? Now, I'm going to step back from this, and there's just one other little piece of information that's really important, and I'm going to add this in this video and try to keep it under 5 minutes. Here's the piece of information. When you have a high outlier or a low outlier, the median is what you might think of as a more trustworthy version of the measure of center. So what you might ask yourself is, what would an average person make on a typical day? Now, it seems as if these three people each made less than $100, and somebody made off with $990. And so if you ask the median would say, well, if you take this job, whatever this job is, you could expect to make $280. But that wouldn't really be true for most people. In fact, even this person did way outside of that. The idea is that the median, when there is an outlier, when you have a skewed data set, is a more trustworthy arbiter of how much the average person might be making. And that's an important concept as we get on to thinking about statistics and what they imply, okay? But for the moment, all we have to worry about is the calculations, the range, the mean, and the median, okay? And that's all you need for right now. Thanks for listening.